fun begins.
How's it going?
Hello.
Well,
Greetings, young Jedi.
hello there.
What's up, everyone? Hybrid Toy Reviews here, and welcome back to the next installment of my Black Series Ranked series. So today, we are going to be ranking every figure that Hasbro has released for Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Basically, all of these are Gaming Greats figures, however, I elected not to rank the entire list of the Gaming Greats, purely just those from Jedi Survivor, because we've actually had 15 unique figures. Now, I am taking figures that have been in 2-packs and splitting them up, just how many unique characters that we are getting from this video game. If you've seen any of my other figure ranking videos, you kind of know my general approach by now. Last week I reviewed or ranked all of the figures from Jedi Fallen Order, which is the first game of this series, so maybe if you would like to watch that one first, you should track that one down. It just came out last week. But that said, 15 unique figures, all from Jedi Survivor. I am very excited about this. It was such a fun game to play, and a lot of these figures are really good. So that said, let's go ahead and start with my list, starting right at the one that I consider the worst, number 15. Spot number 15 goes to the Riot Scout Trooper. Now, this figure is that Scout Trooper mold that we've had since 2014. It's actually one of the better molds from that era and still generally holds up. That's not really my problem with this. So we had gotten a Scout Trooper in the Fallen Order lineup, and if you saw last week's video, you know that I actually positioned it in the round 10. It was pretty favorable. But this one upsets me, even though it comes with the new shield accessory, which actually is a really well done shield. I like the red window. I'm infuriated to no end that he has a boot holster and they decided not to give us the Scout Trooper pistol. That's something that's bothered me since it came out. The Scout Trooper pistol is like the smallest gun that they've ever made in the Black Series, shy maybe Padme's blasters. And it just really feels like they really needed to save that nickel of black plastic. I had never posed him using it, but at that point, he's got an empty holster, and empty holsters, just something about empty holsters just pisses me off to no end. I hate it on the holiday figures, I hate it on this figure. Retool the boot and take away the holster if you're going to take away the gun. Otherwise, give me my nickel of black plastic. Spot number 14 goes to the Reprogrammed Droideka. So I've not been shy about it before. I don't super love the Black Series Droideka mold. I kind of feel like it's a little bit over-engineered. It's kind of frustrating to pose. And just generally speaking, a part of me wishes that it was a little bit more of a static figure that maybe had some swap out parts, or just give me a static attack Droideka and a static droid, or ball mode Droideka. But it's just a frustrating base mold to begin with, and then you get into the paint that the pirates have given it. I don't dislike the decos that the pirate droids have given, but it just doesn't speak to me. Truthfully, it's just not something that I'm just like, whoa, I needed. I do want them to complete the droids from the game at this point, because we have like so many of the repaints, but this one's just not my favorite. It's kind of just an aesthetic thing ultimately, but it's my list. I'm allowed to make aesthetic choices. Spot number 13 is the KX Security Droid Enforcer. This was 2-packed with the Droideka, and this is the white K2SO droid. And, ultimately the big thing here, beyond the K2SO mold being starting to show its age a little bit, it's very top-heavy, it's just kind of boring. It's like a cream, like white chocolate kind of color, and that's just not really accurate. It really should have a bit of weathering on it, and it's just really, really clean. And whenever you see them in this coloring in the game, they're really grimy. It's just, again, another one of those like aesthetic choices, but I just think there's better molds that have made their way onto the list, and it just doesn't really capture the vibe of the game. The fact that it was a 2-pack with the Droideka and a little bit of a higher price point, I just really feel like this could have had some weathering. I feel like the budget should have been there, and it kind of looks cheap ultimately. In spot number 12 is the B1 Battle Droid from the Battle Droid 3-pack. So ultimately, this is another one of those aesthetic choices. A lot of these droids just really, the designs I appreciate for what they are, but they just don't speak to me. This battle droid was featured in the Amazon exclusive 3-pack. He's a little bit of a lighter deco. He comes with a melee, like, bladed weapon. It's a reuse of the B1 battle droid sculpt. You surely have one in your collection at this point in some color, and this is just one of the less exciting ones, in my opinion. Nothing really wrong with it. It pretty faithfully recreates what it's trying to recreate. I'll give it credit where it's due, and I do think the 3-pack is generally worth a pickup. I just don't think this is the best one in the 3-pack. In spot number 11 is the B1 battle droid that was single-packed. You know, again, battle of aesthetics, I like this one a little bit more. It's darker, it's got some white highlights, some red highlights. It's just more visually appealing to me and my personal preferences, I guess. And ultimately, this is like my ranking list, so, you know, it's kind of all about my preferences. So, I generally like this one a lot more. I don't think a lot of people did. It hit some pretty deep discount. But yeah, it's just a battle droid repaint at the end of the day. There's way more special things coming further up the list. In spot number 10 is Turgle, and I'm going to throw in Scuva Stev as like an accessory figure because, come on, I can't give him his own spot. But Turgle's actually a really interesting case. Turgle is a very minorly articulated figure, which is not what the Black Series does. It was a little bit of a budget cutting thing. It was one of those things where it was either have Turgle or have no Turgle because you got hung up on articulation on it. Blitz Transmissions did a really, really cool interview with Bailey, a Black Series former designer, and I highly recommend tracking that down. There's some really, really good intel in that, and Turgle was one of the figures they talked about. But Turgle has some amazing sculpting, and it kind of makes up for the lack of articulation, and the articulation he has is enough to put him in any kind of Turgle pose you would want to put him in. The paint on him is really, really nice. The sculpt is really, really nice, and it's just one of those things where it's like, it could probably be higher up the list if it was better articulated. I get why it's not. We have way more knowledge of why he wasn't than we do on most figures, and objectively for what he was, for what they were able to make him, I think he is honestly really nice. In spot number 9 is the reprogrammed Magna Guard from the Amazon 3-pack. This is a reuse of the Magna Guard sculpt that we've had in the line, and it's, again, one of those like aesthetic things where I don't super love the design, but it's okay. It's pretty clean. It's game accurate, ultimately. I have issues with the Magna Guard sculpt. It has really good articulation. It's a little bit underscaled. It represents what it's supposed to represent, and it's a little bit more just visually exciting than the B1 offerings. So that's ultimately why it ended up being in spot number 9. Even scaled inaccurately, it's still fun to pose. Once you get it in that right pose, it just looks good. So yeah, Magna Guard, I feel, ultimately is a solid number 9. In spot number 8 is the KX Security Droid. It is a repaint of K2SO, ultimately with an added backpack, and he has a shock staff. It's not the most recurring villain in the game, but you do fight a number of them, and this is a pretty faithful representation of what you end up seeing in the game. The K2SO mold is getting a little old, a little dated. It's not the worst, but I feel like if Hasbro redid him today, they could improve a couple small things on it ultimately. But it does a good enough job for what it's supposed to be, and ultimately it doesn't have enough screen time for me to be like, it needed a new sculpt. So it's a good representation. I like it, and it's a solid number 8. In spot number 7 is the reprogrammed Commando droid. This came 2-packed with a Dagan Gera, and this guy is gold. I like how he turned out. This is one of the more aesthetically pleasing repainted droids, in my opinion. I really love the gold choice. It's kind of like a pearl gold, sort of, and it's just really, really kind of fun. You don't fight a ton of this guy in the game, but they are a challenge when they pop up. I love the Commando droid sculpt. I think it's a pretty good modern figure, and the only complaint I really have on it is, much like the single-packed Clone Wars variant, the Vibrosaur just isn't painted. It's random purple bubblegum looking plastic, and I kind of hate that. But otherwise, the figure itself, it's a banger. I do like this one. Spot number 6 is Cal Kestis in, I'm going to call it his smuggler gear. It's like the Han Solo inspired outfit. He comes packed with Turgle, and then he comes with a number of accessories. The Cal has a variety of lightsaber forms in this game, like a cross guard, a saber staff, 2 separate sabers where one is a Shoto hilt, and they give you the variety of hilts here to do all of them. They only give you white blades. I really would have preferred blue because I'm not big on in-game customization. I would have rather just stuck with blue as the canon color. And then he comes with 2 swappable heads. One that's like the standard look for Cal for the most part, but the head is really small. It's underscaled. And then he has one head where he has the mullet and the handlebar mustache. This game gave you a lot more customization for Cal, and I never used any of it. It just doesn't speak to me in any way. So it's like, to me, it doesn't do a lot, but I know the mullet and handlebar mustache was like the meme of the week when the game came out, and so I think Hasbro would have been making a bad choice by not including it somewhere along the line. I like the outfit generally. I'm okay with kind of pretending that Cal has other clothes than like the canon, standard outfit. But yeah, it's just kind of a bit of a accessory pack on this guy, really was the big thing here. But I'm glad that we got him ultimately. In spot number 5, I have the reprogrammed Super Battle Droid from the 3-pack. The Super Battle Droid is one of the best molds in the Black Series, so any redeco of it, it's gonna, really stand on its own. And then, in addition to it just being that awesome Super Battle Droid mold, they remolded the arm to be the rocket launcher Super Battle Droid mold. So now that part exists, and now I'm just extra excited because this kind of means that they can just make the gray Separatist version with the rocket launcher arm, which was one of my favorite childhood 375 Clone Wars figures, so I'm kind of going down a tangent here. But yeah, the arm was really, really well done for, the adaptation to the live-action Black Series aesthetic, and the deco on this was done really well as well. I ultimately have nothing bad to say on this. I think this is easily the best of the reprogrammed droids by a margin, and one that kind of sucks is locked in a 3-pack, because I would say get this one for sure. But yeah, it's still ultimately a good 3-pack to pick up, and this is the highlight of the 3-pack. In spot number 4, I'm putting Cal Kestis, the main look of the main protagonist of the game. This came out during the plastic-free packaging era. Oh, the dark days. But this is Cal in his vest outfit. He has the single-bladed blue lightsaber and the pistol. They look oh so good. This is such a fun figure to pose. BD1 is a repack with minor paint tweaks, but basically just the standard canonical appearance for BD1. This is a really, really good figure. Just has some excellent articulation. He's one that I've had a lot of fun just reposing over the years, taking figure photos with. It's a really, really good figure. I can't really say much more than that. I can just call it good a bunch of times, or I can move on. So in summary, just know that this one, it really does it for me. This is my favorite Cal Kestis in the line for sure. In spot number 3 is Dagan Gera with the Ghost Arms. This is from the 2-pack with the Commando droid, and it is a repack of the standard Dagan Gera, but they've added his ghost arm. This is not really the definitive look of the character. He only has one arm for the entirety of the game, and then in the final battle with him, at the end of the final battle, in a cutscene, he manifests like a Force version of his missing limb so he can dual wield. It's very shortly lived. It's definitely something that needed to be made, and I understand why Hasbro made it, and I'm happy they made it. I really ultimately want both versions on the shelf. Remember, it made it to spot number 3 on the list overall. But it's the execution of it, it's ultimately just blue transparent plastic. You can see the articulation in it. I can't tell you how Hasbro could have done it better, but ultimately it's a little funky looking, but I do really like it. Ultimately, I think that it adds to the figure, but it ultimately makes it something that I like less than the one-armed version in a weird way, even though it adds to it. So yeah, it's kind of really a one or the other, you know? Like, do you want them with the Force Ghost arm? Do you not want them with the Force Ghost arm? Or just get both of them? And in spot number 2 is Dagan Gera. One-armed Dagan Gera. This was a mainline gaming grade, so you could find it at Walmart or Target or wherever you might be picking up your action figures. And yeah, this is a really, really good figure. I love the High Republic robes. The likeness is really good. The lightsaber is cool. I like how you have the staff version of the saber. You can pull it apart into 2 separate sabers and then have like the single hilt that he battles you with in the beginning of the game when you first meet him. It's just a good figure. I remember when it came out and I reviewed it, people were like leaving comments, like genuine comments about how it needed to be cheaper because you're missing a limb on it. And I'm like, really? Like, that's like someone like drank a cup of stupid juice today. Like, he doesn't have an arm for the majority of the game. Of course they're probably not going to give us that. Like, you know, I don't get it. You need a discount for a guy who's missing an arm, but you don't need a discount for Yoda? Like, come on. So, anyways, it's a really, really good figure. Obviously, since I put it number 2 on this list, I think that if you are a Jedi Survivor fan, your shelf is obviously incomplete without Dagan Gera on it. And then in spot number 1, the figure that I think is the best Jedi Survivor Black Series figure is Merrin. She actually really came out swinging. I really like this figure. I think the likeness is really good. Her outfit from the game adapted to action figure form very nicely. With Black Series, a lot of the time it's like accessory minimum. I don't hate that because like they typically give you like the important accessory, and so like I'm fine with it. But she comes with her dagger, which then she magically makes into a spear in the game sometimes. And she comes with like a magic blast effect, which is really cool. They don't normally do blast effects in the line, and it ultimately didn't make it to my shelf, but I just think it's cool that it was included, and it's not like a bad looking blast effect. I just kind of think blast effects look corny in general, so I just don't really go for them. But yeah, Merrin is just an excellent figure. Her articulation is superb. I love everything about that figure. I mean, they did a great job adapting her. They did it so good that I'm just waiting for Sear and Grease, because I know that they're going to be good too. Like, Hasbro has really kind of like hit their pace, you know, for what I'd like to see from figures at this point. So I'm ready. Give me Sear, give me Grease. I need anything from this game. How about Bode? So, that is it. That is my list, my ranking for all of the Black Series figures from Jedi Survivor. What do you think? Am I completely waffling? Am I on the money on some of these? Fire off in the comments down below. Let's be cool. Remember, it's kind of just an opinion-based list, and it's my opinion. We can have different opinions, but we got to be cool about it. So, yeah, there's a lot of really good figures in this line. There's a lot of Battle Droid repaints. They're low-hanging fruit. I don't blame Hasbro for doing it. You fight a lot of repainted Battle Droids in the game, so it makes sense to me. But yeah, I mean, these are generally speaking some really good figures, ones that I am very happy to have on the shelf. I've been a completionist of the Survivor lineup. I haven't missed any of them, and I don't regret that. I think that it does make for a really nice Jedi Survivor little display in the collection. So yeah, let's talk about it in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out with me for the last roughly 20-ish minutes. I'm going to go work on another video, so come check that out once it goes up. May the Force be with you. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.